Hello.
Yeah, give one. Five.
Shola, can you give another Zoom link, please? No. It's your mic.
Mr. Newton.
Who enter here? We carry mic enter here.
The person no go answer, man, no fear.
Yeah? Yeah, can I?
Whoa, we have a comment. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Ask Chizoba what.
Hey, who is this bastard? Everybody say cheese.
Lagos to see you this time.
No, let's clock it. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3. Clock it!
I'm on that clock. I'm on that clock.
Check.
Don't get guessed.
You want to be our guest?
Yes, sir.
What would you discuss? You want to discuss defections? No, we can take you if it's okay with you.
Defections.
The rate at which people are defecting from one person.
I cannot do it. No,
Will you?
they're not approved
Careful.
to do
No.
anything.
Will you?
Defections.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no.
As a citizen.
Yes.
Actually,
Fantastic.
she's very good at it.
Please. So I'll just give them your name.
Yes.
Serious. Hannah. We have a guest.
We have 7 minutes to go live. 7 minutes to go live.
Her friend. Julie's friend. To discuss this defection.
7 minutes to go live now, please. Who are my camera guys, please?
We're looking for guests. Someone is willing to discuss defections. You say no.
No, sir. No.
Can you
With
hear
all
me?
due respect, sir. No.
Please, where your
I am the one that asked her. She's not offered.
No, sir. She's not prepared.
What makes you think she's not prepared?
What does she do? What is her? No.
Go and find out
No,
now.
sir. I don't know. No, sir. No, sir. I love you. I respect you, but no.
What's going on?
So we say.
You just ask somebody, I ready to discuss defection. Yes, I'll put you on air. No. Sir. Biola will. Give me 2 minutes to say Biola.
I'm doing you now. Who goes
Sagir. Where's Sagir? Check that in bag. Give me powder, bag.
You don't have a makeup series.
No makeup yet.
No makeup person, yes.
Hey, whoa.
Until now, bring makeup person in. I can move on. Wait first. Okay, yeah. Please, I can go through his bags.
Please.
He bad.
Even if it's a woman, I'll go through his bag.
I think.
Please let me borrow this. Blessing, do you mind if I take this? Eh? Oh, it's not even.
No, check that top part.
Here? Here.
Hmm.
I don't know who this is. Alpha. I did Alpha. Alpha.
Maybe
I did hear you.
Yeah, and there is no time. No, sir, let me.
I know. What's up now?
Hold on, wait.
Please hurry up, Abeg.
Alpha, what's up? What's up? Yes.
Those books are the failure.
Ask guys have seen me in Lagos. Anyone that see me, I've forgotten. You've seen me in Lagos.
And
Shit.
we see you, they see you.
Ah, I didn't want to see you when I started taking the wrong ideas.
No wrong ideas. They will swallow the ideas back.
Because I never even come here to come and I just came to come and play. For someone to go and get the
Be the custodian of this powder. See, now you are good. Yes, ma'am. Because next time I know what means the time. So good for everything. Yeah, forehead.
Can I get this? There are two. Give me the second one, not this right one. Check. Have you found it? This one give me that one now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's fine, Abby.
Come on, help me take it in. Come on, help me take it in. Take this in, take this in. Drop it inside now.
Should I bring the second one?
No, 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 no. Just so that the rope will not be, the lag will not be much. Okay. Okay, thank you. Biola Festus, can you hear me? Hello, Biola? Hello, Biola? Hello, Biola? Please tell the producer I need questions for Biola. Or whoever she's giving me, I need questions. Tell her I also need questions for the guests. Sylvester, tell the producer I need questions for the guests. Tell her. No, I'm saying whenever she comes. Thank you. Biola, please speak. Let me hear you. Biola? Biola, can you hear me? Biola? Biola?
It's okay here. It's okay. It's okay here.
Biola, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's okay. Let's see.
How are you today?
You back that side.
Okay.
Biola, how are you today? I thought you said you can hear me.
The audio is sort of poor, but I can manage.
The audio is poor, but you can manage. Okay. Please find a spot and frame properly.
Sorry.
All right. Hello there, this is the sixth edition on News Central TV from our Abuja studios. Thank you for joining us. I'm Neo Taigwe. The top stories at this hour. Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara dumps the PDP for the APC. ECOWAS declares state of emergency in West Africa amid growing regional tension. And 7.5 magnitude earthquake rocks Japan, buildings and infrastructure damaged. We've got details in a moment. Just stay with us. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has defected to the All Progressives Congress from the People's Democratic Party. Governor Fubara on Tuesday announced his decision to join the APC in Port Harcourt just days after the Speaker of the State House of Assembly and 15 other lawmakers dumped the PDP for the APC. Our correspondent Biola Festus joins us from Port Harcourt to give us more details on this.
To go to where the reason why we are still standing is because of that place. And the truth is, without Mr. President, there won't be any.
Our correspondent Biola Phillips. Biola Festus, pardon me there. What's the situation like? I mean, when that announcement was made by the governor, I'm sure you inclusive was taken aback. Tell us about that feeling.
Rivers State Government House, where just some few minutes ago, the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, announced his defection from the People's Democratic Party to the APC. He stated reasons such as that the PDP could not protect him or could not protect him and his followers when the political crisis in Rivers State raged on. So he said the only place that he had security from was from the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, of course, who is of the APC. So these are the instances that he stated that is necessitating his defection from the PDP to the APC. Well, just at a closed-door meeting with his supporters, those strong allies of his, the likes of the former factional speaker, which is Oko Jumbo, the former chief of staff to the state government, which is Edison Ehiye, and a lot more of his followers. They were all with him this evening while he made that decision and said it to the public that henceforth they will be supporting the president of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because of his support to the state, especially during the political crisis. The governor also stated that he would have been referred to as a former governor if not for the support and, of course, for the intervention of the president. So these are the reasons he stated that is making him to move to the APC, where he said is a home for him and his supporters now. And also, just after he announced his defection to the APC, the flag of the PDP in his office was ordered to be taken out. And of course, it will be replaced with that of the APC in the coming days. So this is where the politics in Rivers State is as at this evening. Over to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Biola. And knowing that this is just the first day and that announcement was made a few moments ago, knowing that we'll be getting more updates from you in the course of the week from the Rivers State people themselves, what they feel about their governor moving to the All Progressives Congress. Thank you, and do stay safe. Now, moving on now, the Senate has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to deploy Nigerian troops to Benin Republic. This move aims to restore calm and stability after last weekend's attempted military takeover. Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced the endorsement on Tuesday during plenary. It came after reviewing the president's letter in the Committee of the Whole as per Section 5, Part 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended. The lawmakers voted unanimously in support, giving full parliamentary backing to the regional security mission. Senator Akpabio called the decision timely and firm, pointing out that trouble in a neighbor can quickly shake up the whole region.
That despite the fact that we had come to a conclusion in granting Mr. President consent to deploy troops for the peace mission and also ensuring that we back him, that you came under Order 1B to drop a message from ECOWAS Parliament. It is true that we have our rules, but also true that in any situation not provided in the rule, that we have the right to regulate our own procedures. I'm sure even Senator Alero is aware of that. So, in other words, your point of order is not only sustained, but every other contribution is hereby also sustained.
Now, here's a quick rundown of coups and political instability that might have happened in Benin Republic from 1963 till date. In that 1963 coup, the military was dissatisfied with President Hubert Maga's government and overthrew him. Colonel Christophe Soglo took over as the head of state. But in 1965, Colonel Christophe Soglo was removed from power due to political instability and continued military dominance, repeated regime changes. Between 1967 and 1972, the period was marked by multiple coups and short-lived military governments. Emile Deline Zinsou briefly became president before being removed. In 1972, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Kerekou led a successful coup, established a Marxist-Leninist one-party state, but Kerekou ruled until 1991, making this one of the longest military-backed regimes in West Africa. Post-1990, that's the democratic era, Benin transitioned to democracy in 1991, ending decades of military rule. Since then, coups were rare, but there have been rumors of minor attempts at mutiny, including in 2023, where a low-scale mutiny was not fully successful on nationwide. That was in 2023. But in 2025, the soldiers briefly announced a takeover, which was later countered by loyal forces loyal to the president. Well, the House of Representatives is set to commence clause-by-clause consideration of amendment of several sections of the 1999 Constitution. The process was earlier postponed after lawmakers requested for more time to study the bills and consult widely. This consideration will commence after the presentation of the report during plenary by the House Committee on the Constitution, chaired by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, on the review process. In the meantime, the House has deferred consideration of about 42 proposed bills slated for first, second and third readings to the next legislative day, following a closed-door meeting with the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, and the Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, which lasted almost 2.5 hours. Although details of the executive session was not disclosed, the House deferred the presentation of 4 reports from the House Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions, which sought to establish new agricultural colleges in Kaduna and Edo states, as well as other specialized schools. The Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajudeen, also announced the defection of Mansur Musa, the lawmaker representing Alero Gwandu Ojega Federal Constituency in Kebbi State, from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress.
The All Progressive Congress offers a more coherent and disciplined platform, one that aligns better with the aspirations of our constituents and provides the stability required to deliver development and meaningful governance. My defection is therefore an act of responsibility. It is rooted in principle, strengthened by faith, and anchored on the overriding need to serve my people without any encumbrance.
It is a great pleasure that I rise to move that the House do adjourn plenary to tomorrow, 11 a.m., same venue. I so move.
While appealing to the clerk and the secretariat to delete the other part of our announcement, which is not part of our programs today, I hereby second that we should do adjourn till tomorrow, 11 o'clock.
Well, being joined by our correspondent, Idong Joseph, to tell us. Idong, you were in the House. Tell us, what's the update of the situation there? I mean, the House has postponed some of the things they had already planned to do today. So what else happened there?
Yeah. Good evening. From the House today, we're expecting that the constitutional amendment bill, about 44 of them, we are going to be considered today. And according to the statement that the House gave last week, saying that it's going to commence consideration clause by clause of the constitutions today, this week. We are hoping that that was going to happen. But when the other paper of the day, which is the agenda for how activities are being run every plenary session, when it was released to the public, we ended up seeing that the constitutional process, that those considerations which were supposed to take place did not were not included in the other paper of the day. Rather, it was 33 bills for first reading to be presented in the House of first reading, 5 for third reading, which were going to be passed, mostly establishment of institutions, and also for the second reading. Those were where those are the things we saw on the other paper for the day. And when the House started first, it started with the national anthem, and immediately after all we got to hear was that the reporters and camera operators should leave the chamber, that they are going into a closed-door session, and that session lasted for, if I'm not mistaken, I think about 24 minutes. And after that, during that session, we got to see the ministers, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, and the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service being invited into the session. And hopefully, we hope that tomorrow they are going to continue the consideration of clause by clause of national amendment process, because they said this week, and we hoped that was going to happen today, but it did not start today. We hope it's going to start tomorrow, because the agenda for tomorrow is not yet out. So back to you.
Thank you very much, Idong, and do stay safe. Thank you. We'll take a moment, and when we'll come back, we'll be going back to the situation in Benin Republic, the implications on the West African sub-region, and indeed democracy in Africa. Details in a moment. To stay with us. I'm suggesting
News Central. News Central. Yeah. So I'll come this way.
Are we going to reverse first, or we're going to echo? Please tell your name. They're not sure of the sound they're getting.
Okay, Dr. Odi Ajike. Dr. Odi Ajike.
Is the audio good? Is the audio good?
Listen. Okay, let me bring it out. So you take something else.
What else is good?
We will never know.
It's okay. You will never know what really happened. So, please say something. Say something.
News Central.
How's the audio? Sly, how's the audio? Say you have to speak. Say anything you want to say right now.
Oh, my name is Odi, and I'm right here at News Central. My audio is not good.
Is it good?
You can't hear me.
Is the audio good? Okay.
Welcome back. I said earlier that we'll be going back to the ECOWAS sub-region. Now, the community, that's the Economic Community of West African States, has declared a state of emergency across West Africa to tackle the ongoing or growing instability. ECOWAS Commission President Omar Toure announced it on Tuesday at the 55th session of the Mediation and Security Council in Abuja. The meeting came in response to recent coups and attempted mutinies shaking the region. Toure stressed that these political upheavals highlight the urgent need for serious reflection on democracy's future and stronger security investments throughout West Africa. Last month, military officers in Guinea-Bissau grabbed control of the government and halted the electoral process right after the presidential election as people waited for results. On Sunday, soldiers in Benin Republic announced that they had taken over the government. Hours later, the Nigerian Air Force stepped in to help restore constitutional order. Would you like this version tweaked? No, we would like to tweak the West African Democratic region's democracy and see how it works. But here are a few cases where regional blocs or coalitions declared emergencies, intervened or mobilized because of coups, mutinies or regional political instability. ECOWAS in Liberia, 1999 to 1997. Liberia descended into civil war after Charles Taylor's rebellion. State collapsed, threatening to spill across West Africa. ECOWAS declared the conflict a regional threat and deployed ECOMOG to stabilize the situation. It set a precedent for regional peacekeeping in Africa and helped to end the war and organize elections. In Sierra Leone, between 1997 and 1998, there was a military coup that ousted Ahmad Tejan Kaba, the junta aligned with the RUF rebels, and ECOWAS again deployed a regional security emergency. ECOMOG forces were sent there, mainly Nigerian troops, and the junta was removed, civilian government was restored, and marks one of ECOWAS's most robust interventions. The AU and SADC response to the Madagascar coup 2009, Ravalomanana was overthrown by Andre Rajoelina in a military-backed coup. The African Union and the South African Development Commission declared a political emergency. Madagascar was suspended from the regional bloc. Sanctions were applied. A multi-year negotiation was returned to the country, to return the country back to a democratic process, and that seemed to have, well, right now there's another problem in Madagascar. But the African Union suspension of Egypt in 2013, there was a military coup that removed President Mohamed Morsi, and the political crisis reached wider regional polarization. The AU declared a continental governance emergency and suspended Egypt from all AU activity. But Egypt was reinstated after civilian transition roadmap was accepted. Now, in Lesotho, between 2014 and 2015, a mutiny was also there. An attempted coup, an army mutiny, destabilized Lesotho. The government fled to South Africa. SADC declared a regional security threat, deployed a stabilization mission, and mediated political reforms. And the outcome? Elections were held. The crisis was de-escalated. Back to ECOWAS, the West African bloc. In the Gambia, 2016 to 2017, Yahya Jammeh refused to hand over power after losing elections. Risk of civil conflict and refugee spillover. ECOWAS declared a constitutional crisis. Mobilized troops, ECOMOG and ECOMIG at Gambia's border. Diplomatic pressure and military threat. Jammeh fled. Democracy was reinstated. On Mali, 2020 to 2022, there was a coup. A coup in 2020 followed by another in 2021. Civilian transition repeatedly violated. ECOWAS declared a regional democracy emergency, closed borders, enacted economic sanctions, threatened military intervention, and the junta negotiated a timeline for transition, though it's been delayed. The AU's suspension of Burkina Faso in 2022 to there was a coup in 2022. The military removed President Roch Kabore amid rising insurgency. The African Union declared a governance emergency, suspended Burkina Faso. ECOWAS demanded a transition timetable. The junta committed and later revised the transition plans that it had put in place. Well, this is the situation. But let's just look at what's on ground right now in Mali, because it looks like it's spinning over here. Military-led Sahel nations Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso condemned the emergency landing of the Nigerian military plane in Burkina Faso on Monday, warning against further airspace violation. In a joint statement, the Alliance of Sahel states said the aircraft was carrying 11 military personnel, had no clearance to fly over Burkina Faso, and called the incident an unfriendly act. Their air force were now on high alert and have been ordered to neutralize any unauthorized aircraft. The fate of the 11 on board the Nigerian plane was not disclosed. Well, the Nigerian Air Force reacted, saying the C-130 aircraft landed in Burkina Faso as a safety precaution and that proper procedures were followed. Now, spokesperson Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame explained that during a mission to Portugal on December 8th, the crew noticed a technical issue after takeoff from Lagos and made an emergency landing in Bobo Dioulasso, the nearest airfield. He confirmed that all personnel on board are safe and have been treated well by the Burkinabe authorities. Now, all of these things, how do we unbundle them? To help us here, I'm joined by Dr. Odi Ajike, a lawyer and security expert. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Odi.
Thank you so much.
And how are you today?
Well, wonderful day, always a good day.
A good day with all of the data that we'll be reeling out.
Always a good day.
All the interventions on the sub-region ECOWAS and then the African Union and all of that in the face of all the coups that have been happening, the latest being Benin.
Yes, it's the political complexion of Africa. We know the political complexion of Africa. The nature of African's political system breeds insecurity. Is a nation, is a structure that is built on injustice. Is a structure that is built on disregard, for the people. So what do you expect? Any structure built on injustice, the first casualty is security. And that is exactly what is going on in Africa. That is why insecurity is prospering in Africa.
Okay, just hold your thoughts for a moment. We'll go back to the ECOWAS soundbite. Let's hear what the president of the ECOWAS Commission had to say when they had to declare the emergency. But we'll be back in a moment. To stay with us.
Qu'un aéronef appartenant à l'armée de l'air de la République fédérale du Nigeria, de type C-130, a été contraint de se poser ce jour 8 décembre 2025 à Bobo Dioulasso, au Burkina Faso, à la suite d'une situation d'urgence en vol, alors qu'il évoluait dans l'espace aérien burkinabé. L'avion militaire avait à son bord 2 membres d'équipage et 9 passagers, tous militaires. Une enquête a été immédiatement ouverte par les services compétents burkinabés et a permis de mettre en évidence l'absence d'autorisation de survol du territoire burkinabé par cet appareil militaire. À cet égard, et sur instruction des chefs d'État, les défenses aériennes et anti-aériennes de l'espace confédéral mises en alerte maximale, conformément à la déclaration du Collège des chefs d'État en date du 22 décembre 2024, ont été autorisés à neutraliser tout aéronef qui violerait l'espace confédéral.
Thank you very much. The ECOWAS anthem.
Thank you. That was a soundbite from the Sahel Alliance. I'm talking about the plane that landed in Nigeria. According to them, the Burkinabe authorities are insisting that they did not give permission to Nigeria to land or fly over Burkina Faso. But back here, you were talking about the nature of Africa's democracy.
Yeah.
But before democracy came into Africa, there was governance.
Okay.
So what changed?
Okay, governance is all-encompassing. Before democracy emerged in Africa, the structure, the nature of the African state is a structure that is built on injustice. That is why, as I said, insecurity prospers in Africa. Now, look at the alliance of Sahel states. They are cooperating today, coming together for a common good. The ECOWAS regional system is also for a common purpose for all the states within the ECOWAS region. We have the Central African Republic. Now look at the way leaders are foisted on the people. And remember, there are no new spaces, so people must crack spaces for themselves within existing states. There are no new land anywhere. So it's bred by injustice. Injustice is a fundamental issue.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's leave the coups and look at the outcome of that attempted coup in Benin Republic.
Yeah.
Howbeit, stability has been restored. The democracy has been restored.
For now?
For now.
Yeah.
But now, Burkina Faso has grounded Nigeria's plane.
Yeah.
Now, the Nigerian Air Force says they had a situation, they were not in Benin, they were going to Portugal and discovered a technical issue and had to land at the nearest airport, which is a regular thing when you have in air travel. If you have a situation, you land at the nearest airport. Protocols, there are all manner of protocols there. But now Burkina Faso says, or the Sahel states say, there was no permission to that effect.
So who do we believe now? Do we believe that the owners of that particular sovereignty where the plane landed? They are the ones who should believe. They are the ones who have told the world that they never granted permission for the transport plane to land. From Nigeria, you know, the Nigerian government is always very reactive. They are always very reactive. So the news we got first was from the Sahel states. And today we are hearing from our own government that there was a technical issue, and it's a transport plane. So Burkina Faso said there was no clearance. Their sovereignty, their airspace was violated, and there was no clearance. So we need to do certain things. And what do we need to do? We need to do some diplomatic work to resolve the issue. Because we have service personnel who are in the aircraft. We have the aircraft which belongs to Nigeria, which is right now under their control. So we need to use diplomacy to resolve that issue.
Okay, just before we let you go, let's look at this matter of security. So we have these coups happening. I mean, right now, Burkina Faso, Mali, Burkina Faso, Mali have military governance.
Yeah.
And the rest of the ECOWAS sub-region has democratic governance. So I think 3 nations on the ECOWAS sub-region. But the issue of security, in these nations that have military governments and some nations that have democratic government, the issue of insecurity appears to be escalating. One would think that when military governance steps in, insecurity will be taken care of once and for all, but it looks as if it's still persisting. So how do we say, at what point do we say a government is good enough to end insecurity? I mean, considering that the jihadists, the terrorists are spreading gradually, appear to be spreading.
Okay, let's look at the trajectory. You look at the Sahel, we know why the issues are there in the Sahel. But go all around the world, wherever you have insecurity, wherever you have terrorist insurgency, there are things that are primary that you must find in those locations. From Yemen to Mali to Nigeria, that's the northeast Nigeria. There are things you find. You find a primitive economy. You find non-existent or dilapidated public infrastructure. You will find hunger. You will find poverty. You will find unemployment.
And then you find solid minerals.
And you find conflict minerals.
Oh, they are now conflict
yes,
minerals?
They are conflict minerals because those are the motivators for conflict. Now, some of these areas are badlands. They are ungoverned spaces. So these terrorists or the insurgents will find comfort in some of those places, and they'll begin to prosper. But I look for a day when these governments will come together to accept that they are actually the cause of the insecurity. Because if development has been democratized all across board, if unemployment is taken care of, because if you want to know how good a country is doing, there are things you look at. You look at the rate of inflation, you look at the rate of development. Okay? You look at the rate of unemployment or employment.
Dr. Odi, we have to go. We will definitely look to bring you back.
You will find out that across all Africa, insecurity is prospering because these particular factors are present.
Thank you
and
so
they are
much.
abiding.
Thank you, Dr. Odi Ajike is a lawyer and a security expert. Thank you for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to bringing you back into our studios again.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving away from that, the Shipping Lines Association of Nigeria has raised concerns over the persistent incidents of stowaways at Nigerian port berths, revealing that vessels recorded about 2,300 security infractions in 2025. Speaking at a press conference in Lagos, the association's chairman, Boma Alabi, senior advocate of Nigeria, lamented that despite payments made to government agencies responsible for safeguarding vessels at berth, criminal elements still manage to gain access. She charged the government agencies to discharge their duties efficiently in the interest of national economic growth. She, however, warned that continued operational failures within regulatory and enforcement bodies are undermining trade and costing the country jobs, as well as stalling expansion across the maritime industry, as businesses are unable to grow in an environment where demand is suppressed by systemic bottlenecks, as Nigeria is where the market is.
Another major problem we've been having across the shipping industry is stowaways. Waterways, NIMASA, and the Marine Police are supposed to be protecting us and keeping it safe. But these vessels are moving, fishing boats drop close, and stowaways climb into the border area. It's dangerous for them. People are losing their lives. The ship that is moving will not be aware that you have entered there. Then they land somewhere and there's a stowaway. The port authorities find them. So then you have the ship owners have to repatriate the stowaways back to Nigeria. At a cost. NIMASA, Marine Police, they are supposed to keep the waters safe. Why are you penalizing me for people who boarded my vessel, who sneaked into my vessel? Do you understand? It doesn't make sense. And it's just an unfair policy that needs to stop. Protect my vessel from stowaways. You're not. Then on top of that, you're penalizing me. You're making me bring them back at my own cost. And then you're fining me on top of that. If we think about it, how does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. So that's a policy that needs to change. Government needs to think about it.
So education, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities has urged the federal government to improve security on Nigerian campuses and provide comprehensive insurance for all staff. The association made this known via resolutions reached at the end of its 53rd National Executive Council meeting held at the University of Jos. In a signed communique, SANU raised alarm over rising insecurity in schools, citing recent kidnappings in Niger and Kebbi State. Our correspondent Bettina Whaley reports.
The National Executive Council of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities has condemned the persistent marginalization of non-teaching staff in end allowances and renegotiation processes. It insists that the 50 billion naira agreed in the 2022 MOU must be released immediately, warning of a total industrial action in 2026 if the government fails to present a credible offer by December 31st.
We have set a deadline between now and the end of 2025 that if federal government refuses to invite us and conclude discussions on this 2009 agreement as it affects SANU, we will shut down the system. We are not ready to go back to universities in 2026 without any tangible offer given to us so that we can also survive like human beings.
SANU rejected proposed PPP plans for campus services, saying past models have led to job losses and poorer welfare, and demanded that no staff be downgraded or pushed into inferior employment.
SANU therefore demands that predictable and adequate funding, timely releases, and strict accountability mechanisms to ensure that the resources directly address critical needs in teaching, research, infrastructure, digital systems, and administrative services. Without decisive government action, the decay of university infrastructure will continue to undermine national development and the future of Nigerian youth.
SANU has reaffirmed its commitment to dialogue but says it will take lawful action when necessary to defend its members. In Abuja, for News Central, Bettina Nwili.
Now, we brought you a story earlier about the defection of the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara to the APC, and we also had our correspondent Biola Festus join us to tell us what the mood was like when the announcement was made earlier today. Now we're going back to Rivers State again to our correspondent Biola Festus, who is on the streets talking to some of the residents of Port Harcourt about what their reaction is to the governor's defection. Biola?
Just moved to the APC. He stated the fact that the PDP could not protect him during the storm that rocked the state. So we went ahead to go to the street and to, of course, ask the people of Rivers State what their opinions are, what their views are. We've been following the stories. We've been following how Rivers State has been in crisis for up to a year or more. So we have a resident of Rivers State right here with me, Sophie Fubara. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the governor just joined the APC. Did you, as a resident of this state, see it coming?
Well, not the symbols or it's all over, because his colleagues in other states, the Niger Delta states, so many of them have left the PDP and joined the APC. And since he's a very strong politician in this part of the world, I think it's just good that he followed suit with what his colleagues has been or joined recently. So
okay,
that is not news anyways.
Apart from following suit what his other colleagues are doing, now would this be better for Rivers people? Is it a change of political party that Rivers people actually need at this moment?
Well, not really a change of political party, but it will be very good if we have this symbiotic relationship with the assembly. Now, recently there was news that those in the legislature, the House of Assembly people, they also defected into the APC, which is okay. So since we want this coherence, let the governor and the House of Assembly people have coherence, have a very good working relationship. But if they join the APC and also decide to join the APC, well, it's good for us because they've been having this back and forth politically. This one is saying the governor is not done the projects, all the back and forth. So if they can come to an alliance and join the same political ship, well, why not? It will help the state and it will move us forward. We want peace and development, basically.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, alliance, it says, will this calm the storm that has been rocking the state? Would this be better for Rivers people? A resident just told us that at least the legislative and, of course, the assembly will be on the same page now. Well, On Your Mandate We Shall Stand has become a popular song for Nigerian politicians recently, and of course, Rivers State just joined in that song. Over to you.
Thank you, Biola. Thank you. Do stay safe. Back to the studio here. Let's talk about Kano, where overdependence of water is placing communities in the state at serious risk, as a recent well accident in Badume Kanawa village in Beche local government area of the state led to the death of 3 men. The men who lost their lives while attempting to redig a well, which is not the first case, as 4 days earlier, a 10-year-old boy, Hassan Haruna, from Danbata local government area of the state, also lost his life after he fell into another well. An investigative tour of the 2 communities revealed long-standing water scarcity issues, which have forced citizens to search for self-help solutions in a bid to provide water for their families. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
Located along the federal highway connecting villages in Bichi and Dawakin Kudu local government areas of Kano State, many of these communities have been identified to suffer from regular water shortages. For many residents of Jigawan Gano in Dawakin Kudu local government area of Kano State, it's a Herculean task getting water as the dry season compounds the situation.
Akalla za a samu kaman shekara kaman 20. Warre ko shi ake sha, ake cin abinci, ake wanka da wanki, kaga ga masu wanki ga masu diba da kuma abinci da ake a wannan. Su ma ana ba su. A wannan duk kowa ne ka diba su ana ba su.
To gashi nan rani ya zo
yanzu rani ya zo duk suna iya karewa a zauna a yi zaman jira.
Rashin ruwan yana da janyo mana rashin zuwan yara makaranta da ke cikin wannan gari namu.
With well accidents now trending and children increasingly becoming more vulnerable, recent cases like that of Bichi involving 65-year-old Saidu Gada, his 20-year-old son Sani Isiaku, and 60-year-old Yakubu Abdullahi, who all died in a bid to dig a well, has now become a source of worry. Also, a 10-year-old boy identified as Haruna Hassan recently fell into a well and died in Dambata local government area of the state.
Wallahi a yau ma mutum sau uku ko?
A nan ma yaro ya taɓa faɗawa amma bai mutu ba. Haka ne, faɗa kuma gwargwadon iko ana yi. Kaga ko kana da yaro ba za ka iya cewa ba zai yi wannan abun ba tunda ba zai yi a idan ka ba. Faɗa kuma za ka iya masa. Ko baka isa ka zo ka ce da kowanne yaro ba zai hau kan rijiya ya ɗebi ruwa ba.
Residents are calling for help as the dry season climaxes following increasing water scarcity.
Wallahi ba wannan taimaka mana da zancen ruwan nan abba gida-gida aka kawo mana ruwa.
With the Kano state government announcing key interventions through a collaboration with the French government, it is hoped that these communities will have water soon. In Kano for News Central, Emmanuel Bagudu.
Still to come, Kenya activists march in solidarity with Tanzania. We'll bring you details in a bit. Stay with us. Fierce fighting is underway in the Democratic Republic of Congo as the Rwanda-backed M23 militia continues its rapid advance towards the strategic border city of Uvira. According to military sources, M23 and their Rwandan allies are now about 15 kilometers north of Uvira, closing in fast compared to 30 kilometers just on Monday. This resurgence of violence follows closely on the heels of a peace agreement signed between Kinshasa and Kigali, overseen by U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington. Local people described a state of growing panic as bombardment struck the hills above the city, several hundred thousands of residents. Kenyan rights activists were arrested outside the Tanzanian High Commission in Nairobi on Tuesday after a demonstration in support of the people of Tanzania. The protest was sparked by the cancellation of Tanzania's Independence Day celebrations amid growing concerns over human rights abuses in the country. On Monday, Prime Minister Mwigulu Nchemba urged citizens to stay home and use the day for rest. The economic capital, Dar es Salaam, was unusually quiet on Tuesday, with no cars and few people on the streets as a heavy security presence dominated.
We are here as patriotic citizens of Kenya. We are here as members of Jumuiya. We are here as activists. We are here as young cadres.
to stand in solidarity with the people of Tanzania. We know very well that Samia Suluhu do not want people of Tanzania to come out and celebrate their democracy and fight for their democracy. We are here on behalf of our brothers and sisters who have been denied their right to peaceful assembly, their right to speak out. We are here now to speak out on behalf of the people of Tanzania.
This is a non-violent protest. We are lending voices to Tanzanians that today, a day that should be marked as Independence Day, the president has canceled the celebration. This is indeed very clear abuse of power. You should allow Tanzanians, especially the young Tanzanians, to celebrate what their founding fathers fought for.
And the International Criminal Court has sentenced a Sudanese militia leader to 20 years in prison for committing war crimes, including attacks on civilians and widespread human rights violations. The court had already convicted Ali Mohammed Ali Abd al-Rahman, also known as Ali Kushaib, of 27 counts of crimes against humanity and war crimes, including rape, murder and torture in the Western Darfur region between 2003 and 2004. Prosecutors presented evidence of mass killings, forced displacement and other acts targeting vulnerable communities, while the defense argued mitigating circumstances.
Stand up, please, Abd al-Rahman. The Chamber sentences you to a joint sentence of 20 years. The Chamber would have pronounced a higher sentence had it not been for the mitigating circumstances discussed above. That sentence is passed unanimously.
The United States has urgently called for an end to the escalating clashes between Cambodia and Thailand. This comes less than 2 months after a truce agreement was co-signed by President Donald Trump. Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued a statement on Tuesday urging both countries to halt hostilities immediately and protect civilians caught in the conflict. He also emphasized the importance of returning to the terms of the peace deal to restore stability to the region. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says on Tuesday that parts of the new U.S. national security strategy unveiled last week were unacceptable to us from a European perspective. A security strategy meant to flesh out President Trump's America First worldview said the United States will shift from its historic global role towards increasing dominance in Latin America and to fighting migration. It harshly described Europe as being overregulated, censorious, and facing civilized erasure from migration, and criticized European institutions, which it said undermined political liberty and sovereignty.
Manches darin ist nachvollziehbar, manches darin ist verständlich, manches darin ist für uns aus der europäischen Sicht inakzeptabel. Dass die Amerikaner nun die Demokratie in Europa retten wollen, dafür sehe ich keine Notwendigkeit. Das, wenn sie zu retten wäre, das würden wir schon alleine hinbekommen. Ich sage in meinen Gesprächen mit den Amerikanern, America First ist fein, aber America Alone kann nicht in eurem Interesse sein. Ihr braucht.
And 3 men have appeared in a Frankfurt court in Germany charged with spying on a former soldier who served in Ukraine. Prosecutors allege that the suspects acted on behalf of Russian intelligence. A spokesperson for the prosecution, Ines Peterson, said the spying may have been part of preparations for further intelligence operations, possibly including assassination attempts against the victim. The trial is expected to last about 3.5 months, running until late March 2026.
In dem Fall geht es um den Vorwurf der Spionage. Wir werfen den Angeklagten vor, dass sie im Auftrag eines russischen Geheimdienstes hier in Deutschland einen in Deutschland aufhältigen Mann ausgespäht haben sollen. Konkret geht es dabei um den Vorwurf, dass sie das Opfer zu einem fingierten Treffen in einem Café in Frankfurt lotsen sollten, um dort die Identität des Mannes zu bestätigen und auch weitere Informationen über ihn zu sammeln. Hintergrund der Aktion könnte gewesen sein, dass dem Opfer, also dem Mann, der ausspioniert wurde, von Russland der Vorwurf gemacht wird, in der Ukraine sich an Kriegsverbrechen zulasten russischer Soldaten beteiligt zu haben. Also die Hintergründe, auch sicher die Motivation dieser Tat wird jetzt Gegenstand der Beweisaufnahme seitens des Gerichts sein. Ein mögliches Motiv könnte gewesen sein, vorzubereiten auf weitere geheimdienstliche.
In the meantime, an overnight drone strike hit a 9-story apartment building in Okterka in Ukraine's Sumy region. Local authorities report that emergency services are assisting residents on site, while a mobile resilience point has been set up to provide warmth and allow people to charge phones and laptops. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in London ahead of talks with European allies after former U.S. President Donald Trump accused him of ignoring a U.S. proposal to end the war with Russia. A powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck Japan early on Tuesday, causing widespread damage to buildings and infrastructure in several prefectures. Local authorities report collapsed walls, cracked roads and toppled power lines, though rescue teams are still assessing the full extent of casualties. Residents in affected areas were evacuated as aftershocks continued throughout the morning, prompting temporary closure of schools, businesses and transportation networks. Emergency services have deployed search and rescue teams, while the government urges citizens to follow safety protocols and avoid non-essential travel. Japan's Seismic Monitoring Agency continues to track aftershocks, warning that additional tremors could exacerbate structural damage in already weakened areas. That's on the 6th edition today. Thank you for watching. Here's a recap of the major stories. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara defects to the APC. ECOWAS declares state of emergency in West Africa amid growing regional tension. 7.5 magnitude earthquake rocks Japan, buildings and infrastructure damaged. We'd like to hear from you. Send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen and follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. See you again. I'm Neo Taigbe.